Now that Drazah is all but confirmed into Atlanta FaZe's roster, that leaves us with a big question. Who is going to be the flex for OpTic Texas? Now, for the most part, I think a lot of people are going to go straight to Simp because he is the next best thing. And now, if you think about it, you could also go to an old friend of yours, Ghosty, hit him up, see if he can come back. And then we could also go along the lines of, what's Priesta doing? Would OpTic potentially want a Priesta, which is the most winning CDL era player? Would they be willing to take a chance on Kenny that now wants to run a flex, or even an Envoy? Would they try him at a flex? That takes away a good player from another team, puts it on your team, but how would that mesh, right? You have 3 SMGs, one has a flex that hasn't played a flex before. How would that work? I don't know. Would they take a shot on someone that is not known, like an Awakening? Okay, that one's a little bit faded, but would they be willing to bring back someone out of retirement? Scump? ZooMaa? Play a flex? Let's break it down. Let's break it down and talk about it, because some are a lot crazier than others, but I want to have the conversation at the very least. It all kicks off with Atlanta FaZe tweeting out, it's official, followed by a Jake Hill tweet saying Drazah is choosing FaZe over OpTic. Then Drazah tweets out basically a little gif showing that he kind of joins the dark side, followed by a Kenny tweet basically telling him, you were supposed to be the one beating FaZe, and now you're joining them. Then ZooMaa goes live and he's trying to figure out who leaked it. Was it Ben? Was it Octane? And maybe he's messing around. I'll play the clip for you guys, but he also is kind of just completely acting and just playing it off like it's not official yet. But guys, this is all but official. It's literally like 99% official. There's absolutely no way Drazah is not on FaZe next year starting.
I told Ben, yeah, Ben knew. Yeah, Ben knows. Like, Ben knew, bro. Like Ben 100% knew. For sure. Unless Octane leaked. Unless Sam LaRue leaked. But Sam doesn't leak, bro. I don't think Sam would leak like that. I don't think Sam leaked. You know, unless it could have been Sam. It could have been Sam, bro. Could have definitely been Sam. Listen, I don't know if this is true or not. It is could be. This is just a rumor, guys. This is just a rumor. I'm not even too sure where people are getting their info. Like, where's this guy Jacob Hale getting his info from, bro? Like, I don't. You know what I mean? Like, for all chat. The rumor right now, I thought he was going to OpTic, you know? This is news to me. Bro, this is news to me.
So now, who is going to be OpTic's fourth? Let's kind of talk about everyone that I named, at least have a conversation. It could be a small one, but let's talk about it. Starting with Sib. Let's start off by just talking about Pred and Sib as a duo, right? If they were going off, they were winning. If they were not going off, they were losing. Now, I know this year, at least in MW2, Pred kind of just overtook Sib, right? But we still know that Sib had a great year. Like, it's still, you can still look at the stats, you can still look at his performances. They were still a pretty solid year. And I mean, let's be honest here. If you change accuracy for Dashy, if you change Mack for Shotzzy, the inconsistencies aren't going to be that bad, because guess what? They have takeover potential. I mean, they take over more than they don't, to be honest with you. If Shotzzy has a bad game, guess what? You have Pred. If Pred has a very, very rare off day, you have Shotzzy. I mean, if Sib isn't frying, you know Dashy sure as heck is. Like, come on. This is going to be a very solid, consistent team. I mean, I feel like it's compared, I don't want to compare it exactly to FaZe, but they have that, if one person's not going to go off, you know someone else is. And with MW2's roster, you didn't know if Huke was going to go off. You didn't depend on Ghosty going off. Those two players in particular, you just didn't depend on them going off. You depended on Shotzzy and Dashy every time, and if they didn't go off, kind of like the Seattle roster, you would probably, I mean, and I know, Ghosty played the best at champs. Ghosty still had his moments. Huke was the best player in the stage for 2. Like, I get that. I get all of that. But at the end of the day, if you take out the 2 consistent players on both the Seattle and OpTic team, put them together, I mean, you're going to get greatness, right? I mean, you surely you should get greatness, right? And then Sib's personality is something we should touch on, because he used to be very, like, egotistical, very, like, hard-headed, very whatever. He's learned from 2 years in the league with Lamar, with accuracy. So I'm sure he's a lot more coachable now. I'm sure he's a lot, like, he gets checked more. And again, he has good chemistry with Pred. I mean, they were the duo for 2 years. Okay, let's leave it at that. Now, we brought up Ghosty, right? I mean, let's be real here. They've dropped players before, Dashy again, iLLeY, and then brought him back. to the roster, right? They've done it before. Why wouldn't they do it again with Ghosty? I mean, that's for sure something at least to talk about, right? Whether Ghosty would come back, I don't know. I'm sure if you hit him up and say, yo, you know what? Can you come back? But instead of Huke, you're going to have Pred now. You know, like, come on. He'll come back running. He'll come back running. There's no roster that he's going to make down in the middle barrel teams that are going to compete with OpTic's level of players that they have right now. Like, let's just be real here. Let's bottom line. Ghosty, if they want him back, he'll come back. But do they want him back? Like I said, Sib is just more consistent Slayer, more consistent damage, but Ghosty's the IGL. He's the leader in the team. And again, if you look at his challenger stats, this man was Jesus himself. He was frying. He was the Slayer. He was putting up numbers. But then you put him onto this OpTic Texas roster and he became what they needed of him. He morphed into this player. You know what? I'm gonna have bad stats. I'm gonna sit and soak hill. I'm gonna do all this stuff. I'm gonna hit, I'm gonna be the vocalist. I'm gonna direct traffic. I'm gonna be doing IGL everything, right? That's a lot of stuff he's doing while he's trying to gun, while he's trying to play. Another player that reminds me of, which we'll touch on in a second, is Priesta, right? He's one of those players that does anything he's told, does all the dirty work, and doesn't complain. Ghosty, he gives me that vibe because you know he could be a Slayer. You know he could be great, at least in challengers. We don't know he could do that in pro level, but I assume that, I mean, we just haven't seen him in the position, but we've seen him in the position where he has to change everything about his game. Going from the superstar Slayer to the IGL Calmer, and he's done it phenomenally. I mean, we saw firsthand how he changed the OpTic Texas team, so why not give him the opportunity to start from day one, to start from scratch, and have this really, really good roster and see what happens. Okay, now let's talk about Priesta, because a lot of the stuff I talked about Ghosty, Priesta, let's start off with his contract, okay? I know Paco's great. I know Kismet's great. But they ain't the leading CDL era champion holders. They don't have the most championship in the CDL era is what I'm trying to say. He has 5. The next closest has 4. He has a ring that they won together and they're trying to lowball him? Come on, New York. What are you doing? I get it. He's probably the worst player on your team. That's what you think. Maybe you could argue that, but definitely that statistically, I would say. But he's your dirty worker. There's a reason this man has 5 chips to his name in the CDL era. There's a reason he has 2 silver finishes, second place finishes in COD champs before winning the big one. And then I'm pretty sure he has 2. Maybe he has a second and a third. Whatever. Point is, he's that guy. Now, I know he wouldn't be. I know a lot of you are just. But I just want to mention him a little bit, right? And you want to have. I think he's a free agent. I don't think he's restricted. So you wouldn't have to buy a buyout. Just throwing the name into the hat, right? I'm not saying any of these players that I'm talking about, I'm not saying they should pick up this, they should pick up that. I generally believe probably Sib or Ghosty. Those are my 2, probably. I mean, I would go with Sib just to test it out, honestly. At the end of the day, I would like Sib on there. So I would go Sib. But let's talk about Kenny, another player that maybe you're like, I don't know how I feel about him. Because now he has confirmed that he wants to play a flex position. And that's a big deal because if he was uncomfortable last year playing a sub, you could kind of, his stats reflected that a little bit, right? He wasn't takeover Kenny. He wasn't amazing. He wasn't a beast like he has been in past titles when he is comfortable with the role. And now that he wants, that's going to be kind of new. He's played, I think, in AR. Has he played flex before? I don't know, but I think he played AR, right? But he wasn't main AR because he was, whatever. So you want to take a shot on Kenny, who's had a bad year, but he has a ring. He has another, second place finish in World War II champs, I believe. He's been a top player. He's done, I think he's won MVP in a game, right? I don't know. He's won MVPs in the finals at least, right? He's got a couple chips on his name. Kenny's a very solid player. But do you want him on this OpTic Texas team? I honestly don't. Just like Priesta, I don't think a lot of you guys are going to be a fan of these 2 players, but want to throw them out there, want to give them a little bit of gas, and just don't forget, Kenny's in a situation where Priesta was, but kind of different. I mean, Priesta was in that stage for a couple years. Kenny's only been in that stage for what, 1? Because he had a pretty off year last year. But if you're a world champion, and you won it literally last game. Why are people just talking so bad about you in what? And you won a chip last year. Like, come on, Kenny's a winner. Kenny's a winner. Just, you know, all I'm saying is keep your mind open. Now, that's probably not going to happen. He's probably staying on Thieves, but just keep it in mind. Now, okay, I'm going to go super quickly with this next one. Awakening. I mean, let's be real here. He's just a slayer, not really a leader, not really a calmer. I don't know why I even mentioned him, but I saw a Reddit post that said Awakening, so I wanted to bring it up. I don't like that. Let's just Envoy. Let's go with Envoy. Do you bring in Envoy to be your flex, or do you bring him in as your second sub and maybe say, yo, Shotzzy, you want to play flex, or yo, Pred, you want? Okay, I know that sounds crazy, but maybe you could make it work. Not only does that benefit your team because you take away a player, right? You take away one of the biggest free agent SMG players, and you sign the other big SMG player to your roster already. All but confirmed, at least all but confirmed, even though Crone kind of confirmed it, whatever. So you basically just hog the SMG players, and maybe you try to make it work. I know Envoy could kind of IGL a little bit, right? He's done it before in the Huntsman days. Will he be able to do it again? I mean, he'll be hitting routes he'll do all the dirty work. He'll do it just as a flex. And honestly, I wouldn't be mad at that. Because he'll be playing Ghosty's role as a flex, and we've never seen Envoy with a flex, but we do know it's easier for an SMG player to play a flex role, to play an AR role, than it is for an AR to play an SMG. And also, if the next game is a 3 sub meta, but okay, probably not gonna happen. I know he's about to sign with Ultra, right? The talks are like really, really close or whatever's being reported, but think about it. Envoy comes back, not as an SMG, but as a flex. Does all the dirty work that he already does, just does it as a flex. Steps up in the comms, steps up in the IGL. Would that roster work? And if I'm being honest, I like that over Priest. I like that over Kenny. Definitely like that over Big Wake. Do I like that over Sib and Ghosty? Now that I'm sitting here and actually talking about and actually thinking and putting it together, I like that. I like that. I do like that. I would first of all go. Wow, what the? I'm naming everybody but Envoy. Would he want to play a flex? Would he be willing to? Honestly, the answer is probably no. But if it was for Texas, OpTic Texas, his home, maybe that changes his mind. I mean, who knows? I'm sure OpTic kind of regrets letting him go a little bit, because at the end of the day, that man went off, won what, a chip, 2 more chips, including a world championship, and OpTic's won just 1 since the split up. But obviously, Envoy won a lot more than OpTic. But I mean, they miss him for sure. But do they even want to do that? Do they even want to try that out? Would they be willing to? Would they want to pay him a lot of money? I don't know. A lot of questions here that I don't have the answers to, and I'm sure none of you guys have the answers to. But again, want to talk about it, want to have a conversation. Now, let's end it with Scump and ZooMaa. Would they be willing to come out of retirement and play a flex? The answer is probably no. Now, Scump recently, he's always said that he's not coming back unless he loves the game. So, probably MW3 is rumored, right? Probably the same as MW2, very, very close to it, if not exactly the same, just different guns, names, and stuff like that. I don't know. So I practically rule out the Scump on retirement. However, I will point out Pred. I mean, the roster was rumored to be Pred, Scump as the SMG duo, right? No, because it would have been Shotzzy, Pred, SMG duo, and then Scump would have been Flex, with Bruce being they would be the same roster as right now. Literally the same roster. Would he be, or was he planning on saying, yo, you know what? You take my spot. I'm out of here. I'm retiring. We just will never know the answer to that question. But if Scump was set to be the flex player for that roster, Who says he don't come back? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, OpTic's first choice out of everyone I just named automatically would be Scump. No questions asked. Now let's touch on ZooMaa quickly, because I would love to see him come back and play. Whether it was for any team, I want him to play one more year. Just give me one more year, ZooMaa. One more year. It would be amazing. A last dance for ZooMaa. Obviously Scump would be, you know, but ZooMaa as well, like, you know, like that'd be so cool. Probably would drive viewership a lot, like really high up. He would, because he's a pretty big name. Everyone in the COD scene basically knows him, watches his content, and before Scump retired, he was the biggest COD. He was the only channel that was actually pumping out content that was very, very big. That was, you know, okay, whatever. He was the face of the COD competitive content. Okay, y'all get the point. I'm gonna shut the So ZooMaa, he said recently, I believe a couple days ago, that he would only come back if the situation where he was not even a flex. He just said in a situation where he was gonna for sure be in like a championship caliber team. Check, right? OpTic, that would be a check. Then he said it would be even easier if he was a flex. He said, you know, what does he say? Forget about it, you know, like that stuff. So if that's the case, then maybe you could see a world. He said he would pass the flank onto Ben for a little bit and stuff like that. Now they could even slot in Octane for Ben's spot. You know, the Octane, Parasite, Ace, and Ben could run the flank. I don't know. I'm just shooting a little bit of straws out there. I'm just saying. Could be a possibility. Could be something that happens. I don't know. I wanted to let you... Okay, I'm done. I'm cutting myself off. All my videos are also on every single audio platform, Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast. If you guys want to listen to my videos instead of watching them, just if you're at work, if you're busy, you know the vibes. And if you are listening to it, I'm also on YouTube at the COD Drive. You guys know what's good. With that being said, leave a like, comment, subscribe. You guys let me know what is your favorite flex, why, what would be interesting, would be creative. Let me know. Just talk to me, man. Let's talk some COD. I love doing that. Join the Discord and we can start up a little COD competitive Discord, a little community, you know what I'm saying? With that being said, it's been your host, ZooMaa, and I love you guys. Peace. Thank you for watching.